Hey, fellow film fans, England team here. I'm probably the last person on YouTube to make a best of 22 list. So I got to tell you, the reason why is because I've been waiting for The Whale starring Brendan Fraser to come in to my town. But unfortunately, it's not anywhere near me. Well, it is, but it's far away. Didn't happen. This is what I've got to deal with. So that's the only reason why well, I don't know if it would have made the list. I'm hoping it would. But other than that, let's go. Let's get this party started.
Number 20.
Starting the countdown off at number 20, I'm going to talk about a film called Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. It stars Regina King. It first appeared on, what was that? The Universal one, Peacock. And this one blew me away. I watched it because I think Regina King was funny. The preview looked interesting. I always like those religious guys knocked down kind of thing. And this, holy crap, it was funny. But there's a couple of dramatic notes in there that just punch you right in the gut, too. Regina King is amazing. If she will not be nominated for an Oscar. She deserves to be for this role. There's one part where her husband says she needs to do something for him to promote the church that they're trying to start. And what he does just leveled me. This is a movie I think that deserves more attention than it's already getting. So check it out. I think it's on Netflix right now.
Have you ever had a movie, the trailer shows up and you're like, okay, I'm going to like that? I had no doubt that Bullet Train would be up my alley, and it was. It's clever, it's quirky. We've got Brad Pitt as a spy. We've got Ryan Reynolds as a villain. Oh, spoiler. I'm telling you, there's a lot of good acting here. There's a lot of great dialogue in this. The action is good. I like the fact that the assassins didn't do anything out of the realm. Now, granted, there was one period or one scene where a woman is fighting a man, but she's using stuff to try to win. The weakest of them uses other things. I think that's smart writing right there, because I hate it when like the smallest of women beat up the tallest of men. It just doesn't seem right. I mean, this is a really fun film. I definitely recommend it. I think it's on Netflix right now. Number 18. If you told me that there would be a over 2 hour slasher film, and I was going to love it, I would think you were freaking nuts. I mean, how can you stretch out a slasher movie for 2 hours, over 2 hours, and it be good? Well, you make sure that the characters are good. That's number one. That makes it so you care when it starts going down. Terrifier 2 amazed me. I mean, it goes hard on the gore. Don't get me wrong. It does what it needs to do. It does do that. But it's the fact that you get to know the people that are going to be in danger that really makes the difference here. Taking that extra time, surprise, surprise, actually did well. I mean, all a movie needs is good writing to make it good, huh? I don't know, but there you go. Terrifier 2, kids. At the number 17 spot, we have X. If you haven't seen it, see it. This isn't so much a slasher film, although it does have that kind of thing. There's not a lot of slashing. But it does entail a whole bunch of young people deciding they're going to film a porn film, and they rent out this old couple's barn. It takes place in the 1970s, and the fact that they're all young and horny kind of pisses off the old lady in the house, and she decides, you know what, I want to kill him. I'm going to kill him. I think I'll kill him. And she does go about killing him in different and weird kind of ways. It gets kind of wild here. She actually feeds somebody to an alligator. You got to check this movie out. It's wild, man. Just wild. This is not a bad year for horror films. There was a kind of character-driven horror film also called Bones and All. It is about cannibals and the cannibal community. It supposes that there's a community out there and they can smell each other. And it's basically this girl meets this guy, Timothy Chalamet, I think his name is. And it's just how they're trying to survive as cannibals and how they're trying to find food and certain and what they need to do in order to survive. And of course, they fall in love. Either way, once again, this is it is a bit of out there. I think that's why the horror film has been better these days. They're trying to find different ways to tell sometimes old stories. And this one works. Number 15. Now we got to talk about one of the more fun movies that we've had in 2022, and that's Nick Cage's The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. This is Nick Cage at his Nick Cageiest, and it's all about him being hired by a drug dealer to come just hang out and be Nick Cage for a while, maybe do a couple of scenes or something. And it's Pedro Pascal is the drug dealer. It is just a joy. It's not just like a ode to Nick Cage, but to movies itself. All along, it's telling this let's stop the drug dealer story. It's amazing how many balls they have up in the air and still can land it. Nick Cage he goes for it every freaking time, every movie. But this one he really does, and it's freaking nailed. I love this film. Number 14. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. I can't say his name. I've been trying to say this over and over. Anyway, the good Pinocchio movie. That's basically it. Actually, it was a palate cleanser, right? I mean, after the turds, I didn't see the Pauly Shore one. The Disney one sucked. I was looking forward to this one. The animation is freaking top notch, kids. Absolutely. And it goes through more of the book than it does the movie, which is also appreciated, since it seems like Disney, since they made their versions of these fairy tales, has just kind of taken over the telling of it. And people forget that there were books and stories that these stories were based on. These movies, I am all over the place on this review. I saw it. I liked it. It's number 14. Number 13. Anytime anyone dares to make All Quiet on the Western Front, it has to be like this. It has to be a movie exactly like this. This shows the incredible brutality of war. This does not let up. It is a tiring film. It is a depressing film. It is a film where man is cruel to man, and that is exactly how All Quiet on the Western Front should be. Because ultimately, as it starts out, we see all the propaganda. Yes, you got to fight for Germany. You got to be the soldier. You got to go forth and and it glamorizes war. And then, of course, the characters go into war and the reality is set in. And I think that is really how this film should be done. This looks beautiful, even in its grotesquerie, and it is just impactful. That's a great word for it. It's impactful. All right, kids, taking the number 12 spot is The Outfit. Another movie I believe is on Peacock. At least that's where I saw it at, and it is just amazing. Mark Rylance carries this film. He's a really great actor. He plays a tailor who he's been in this shop for a while. He's got a past nobody knows about. Comes into play a little bit later, but nothing big. This is a stage play. That's the way to really describe it. This is a stage play put on film. The acting is just incredible. It never really leaves the shop that you're in. He's making suits for the mafia, and in doing so, he starts seeing the ins and outs of the backstabbing, the betrayals, and so forth and so on. And he ends up getting caught up in some of it. It really is a good film. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It is a quiet movie. Just going to give you that heads up. So this is the movie that just missed being in the top 10 of the year 2022. And I'm not going to win any friends in the critic circles because of this one, especially when you see my number 10. But the thing is this is a hard movie to watch. It is a great actor's film. Put Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson in movies from now until the end of time, and I will watch it. I think it is awesome. It's a hard movie to watch. Two guys who used to be friends just kind of have a falling apart to the point where they go to extremes when the feelings are hurt, when there's the misunderstanding. And that's what keeps it just a little bit. I don't think I'm going to be returning to this film a lot, but I'm glad at least that I saw it once. It's on HBO Max right now. Alrighty, kids, we're going to start the top 10 with a movie that I really didn't even know was coming out until I was watching it. And holy Hannah, did it spark off debates. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you love it? I loved it. I thought it was fun. It's called Prey. And I thought this was a very well told story. It's set up, everything's set up in the beginning, had a payoff at the ending. They didn't leave stones unturned. They made sure they explained why things could be done. It was great action. It was good character development. I liked this film. I thought the heroine, okay, she was good. She was definitely the weakest of the bunch, and they showed that. But they showed that she had strength in other places, and they played off that when it came time for her to finally fight the Predator as the final girl. And it worked out. I wouldn't mind doing a full review of number 9 here, because there's a lot to say about how good this film is. If this movie was... Okay, let's try that again. If this movie was made in the 1940s, it would say Inglorious Technicolor, because it has that kind of palette. But let me explain to you why I think this movie is great by explaining a scene. We watch Pearl descend into madness, and at the end she's talking to a friend of hers, and she starts explaining her descent into madness, and the director does not cut. He doesn't cut away, he doesn't turn, he doesn't change angles, he just keeps it there because he knows what Mia Goth is giving him. It is an incredibly good film, and mainly because of her performance. She sells this stuff, and it is creepy. It's good, and I think she deserves the Oscar an Oscar nom for this at least. I don't think she'll get one, but she damn well does deserve it. This is the movie that's right behind the 8 ball. Well, it turns out it's a movie I didn't watch until the end of the year when we're making all of our best of stuff. It's called Apollo 10, and it's 10 and a half, excuse me, and it's about, well, NASA made a capsule too small for an adult, so they got to send up a kid. But that doesn't matter. Even when it came to that part of the story, they glossed over it, because what this was really about is growing up in the late 60s, early 70s, or in the entire 70s, as it turns out. A lot of nostalgia for this film. It'll definitely take you through it. I loved it. It worked on me. It manipulated me, pulled my strings. I loved looking at stuff because they really did capture the 1970s well, the real 70s, the wood-paneled station wagons and so forth and so on. I dug this film. Check it out. It's a feel-good movie. Could you say it's lucky number 7 if it didn't make number 1? It's the year of 13 Lives. They had a miniseries on Netflix, a documentary on Netflix, and a movie made of the story of these 13 kids in Thailand who went into the caves to explore and ended up getting caught there by the monsoon rains that came early. And so the world got together and rescued these boys. Ron Howard is a master of making you care about a story you already know the ending to. This is intense, and it's incredible to watch everybody come together and how they rescued these kids. Check this movie out. It's on Amazon Prime. Alrighty, kids, this is the movie that took the 6th spot. And I'm betting most of you haven't seen this film. This is the Weird Al story. It was on Roku. I kind of had to fly up the Skull and Bones to check it out myself. And I'm glad I did, man. This is a parody of a rockumentary. And it is written by Weird Al himself. And it goes freaking nuts. I actually didn't know I was watching a parody until it was like, wait a second, that couldn't have happened. And then he starts talking about how he was the original, it was the original song for Eat It, and Michael Jackson stole it. And I was like, okay, I get it now. Anyway, very funny. I laughed my ass off through this film. Very well directed. And you know what? I at first thought Harry Potter couldn't play Weird Al very well. I was like, I don't think he's going to nail it. He freaking nailed it. Check this movie out. At the very least, I think you're going to have a blast. Number 5. RRR. It's a freaking crazy movie. I've shown the scene with the animals coming out of the cage so many times. Everybody and their brother is telling you it's great. I'll tell you what it seems to me. It seems to me like this is the movie where someone was talking to someone else who doesn't speak English. And they said, hey, you want a big old tiger fight in the middle of the movie? Yes. How about we have bromance? Yes. How about we have a guy kick a motorcycle into a freaking building a mile away? Yes. How about a big old dance number that seems out of place, but is still really, really cool? Yes. And that's how they made this movie. It's got everything that every movie ever made is put into RRR.
It's crazy. It's kind of silly, but it is freaking awesome.
All right, gang, here's number 4. Glass Onion. I watched it twice, very close proximity to each other, once for myself and once with Gail, and I enjoy this movie. I liked watching what the first time, trying to figure out what was going on. Okay, all right, yeah. They got me. They got me the first time, and then, of course, it was fun watching it a second time. It's seeing, yeah, okay, they did set this up and everything. It's a very tight script. It's got interesting and fun characters. It's a fun movie. Is the twin a little bit of a cheat? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think this movie is kind of also calling out and making fun of the Agatha Christie kind of detective stories, and I think it really works. And I will probably watch it again soon. Coming in at number 3, we have a film that made a lot of people's top 10 for very good reason. Everything Everywhere and All at Once. It's a great freaking family drama that just so happens to have a bunch of dimension hopping action and somehow a butt plug fight. But there you go. I'm sorry, but this is an incredible film. This is exactly what I wished Doctor Strange would have been, in all honesty. And I like Doctor Strange enough, not enough to put it in my top 20, but I liked it. It's a family drama at the heart of it, and you care for the characters. I love having Michelle Yeoh and Ke Huy Quan now in talks for Oscars and winning Golden Globes. Either here or there. That's not what's on the screen, and what's on the screen is awesome. Ooh, the runner-up. I know some people are going to be mad that this isn't number 1, but there's a better movie. Top Gun 2. There you go. Everybody loves this movie, man, and for good reason. It is just pure fun entertainment. You benefited from seeing it in the big screen, but I've watched it. It still looks good on the TVs. It does. I like Tom Cruise, last of the big movie stars, but I got to say, the supporting cast. Miles, what's his name, and Glenn, what's his name? Yeah, they do pretty well. Of course, you could put Jennifer Connelly in any damn thing, and she'll look good. But yeah, it's a good story along with the great flying effects. I don't have much to say about this. You know it's awesome. And the number 1 greatest film of 2022 is... Yeah, I got to admit, I said this is probably going to be the number 1 movie when I first saw it. I know myself very well, and nothing's changed. I've seen this many times over the last year, and it has just hit me every damn time. This is what I want my Batman movies to be. This is the gritty. This is the detective. It still had the big action sequences, but they didn't lose the detective part, even though... And sometimes I was like, are you really the greatest detective? I don't know. It's a lot of fun. Robert Pattinson, good young Batman. Let's see how he grows up. I'm looking forward to the next one. Everybody did well in their roles. The Gotham looks like the Gotham from the comics that we all want it to be. At the same time, looking like it's not overly designed like the Tim Burton movies. This movie was just top freaking notch all the way through.
So there you go, gang. Those are my picks for the top 20. Wow, it's top 20? I did top 20. Yeah, wow. Okay, there you go, guys. Those are my picks for the top 20 best films of 2022. What do you think? What did I get right? What did I get wrong? Why did I have this background since none of those movies made it? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to do all the clicking and the liking and the sharing. Commenting with more than just 1 or 2 words would definitely help the algorithms to get this channel built up. Like, thank everybody who's already done that. To everyone, all of the true believers and fellow film fans out there, thank you very, very much for watching.